spend your Sundays looking for something fun to do? Usually they're so drab and dull.
Boring.
We have just the thing for you. November 28th, the Old Rock House and Rock Paper Podcast present Debstock 2021, featuring music by Nick Gussman and the Coyotes.
Roll, Natchez, roll, till all my trouble lets me go. Roll, Natchez, roll, and carry away my soul.
The Screechin' Halts.
Where we both know this is wrong, but I'm begging you on my knees, baby, please, to lead me on.
One-way traffic.
That's all I've got to say. I know you've been missing me one day.
And Spank on Ya. It's Debstock 2021, November 28th from 3 to 7 at the Old Rock House, 1200 South 7th Street, St. Louis, Missouri. Tickets on sale at metrotix.com. Debstock 2021, a benefit for glioblastoma brain cancer. Brought to you by Old Rock House and Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of the show. Today's features comedian Cori Stewart. Had a lot of fun hanging out with Cori, getting to know her a little bit better, talking about some of her stories and how she got into comedy. So hope you enjoy this one. Do want to say thanks again to Tony and Beyond FM for their help with the promo you heard about Debstock. Join us out at Debstock on November 28th, 3 o'clock at Old Rock House. This is a benefit for glioblastoma, and we got an incredible lineup with One-Way Traffic, Nick Gussman and the Coyotes, Screechin' Halts, and Spank on Ya. Tickets are $15 and available right now at metrotix.com. And if you'd like, I also have some shirts available for pre-sale and other ways to contribute if you want to help support the cause if you're unable to make it to the show. So reach out and hit me up on the email, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com, rockpaperpodcast.com/Debstock for more information. Big thank you to my friends at Roughneck Beard Company and American Rambler for their continued support of this show. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's officially beard season with fall and No Shave November right around the corner. This is prime time to grow a beard. And Roughneck Beard Company has you covered. Using a good beard oil from day one of growth sets the stage for a faster, fuller, healthier growth. Avoid dry skin and the dreaded beard itch by combining with Roughneck Genesis for a vitamin punch that really gets things moving. Stop in today or order online to build your kit and kick your growth into high gear. You can find them here in St. Louis, Missouri, in the Maplewood area on Manchester. You can stop by the shop or shop 24/7 at roughneckbeardcompany.com. Use my code RPP15 for an exclusive 15% off your purchase. It includes all your favorite beard oils, beard balms, junk powder, or one of my personal favorites, a Roughneck Beard Batter. Lots of great options over there. Everything locally sourced here. Smells great. A lot of wonderful fragrances. And get out there and support local. Roughneckbeardcompany.com. That's it for me, everybody. Again, find me at rockpaperpodcast.com. With that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new episode with Cori Stewart.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hi, this is Cori Stewart, and you are listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
This is beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats, scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guests that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot, could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Cori Stewart. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Shane. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm super excited to be here. This is, I don't know. I feel like I say it all the time when doing the show, and I feel like but it's still cool that it's continues because I use the show a lot to meet people, and this is the case today. This is our first time really hanging out here, and we've been friendly online for a couple of years, I feel like, and it's kind of been one of these it's been long overdue, actually properly meeting, but I don't know, there was some kind of pandemic going on and all these other things, and so finally making it happen, and so I'm really glad that you are here today and get to share some stories and talk about some of your comedy and stuff. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. I guess there was a pandemic. Huh?
All right, that's what they were saying.
Just me hiding out in my house for a year and a half.
Yeah. So I don't know a ton of your story, but so that's why I like doing this show, kind of getting to sit down and just get it right from you. And but I always kind of like to start with St. Louis because that's where we're based out of. But has St. Louis been home the whole time, or are you?
I live on the Illinois side of St. Louis.
Right.
I live in O'Fallon, Illinois. I was born there, raised there. I went to O'Fallon High School. I got pregnant when I was a kid. I was 17. And so I had, through my early 20s, I started doing stand-up when I was in high school, really. I did what was called original comedy speech. And so it was like doing stand-up without really, you couldn't, curse or whatever. And I really, really loved it. And I did some stand-up through my 20s. I worked a variety of shit jobs. Like I worked at the Casino Queen in my early 20s, and then Abby was, my daughter, was I think 5 years old, and I had been working in bars and working at the casino, and I had kind of a come to Jesus moment, and so I went to rehab and stopped drinking, and after that, I decided to go back to school. And so when Abby was in her, from the time she was 6 until she was 13, I was in school. I went from associate's degree at SWIC, Southwestern Illinois College, to UMSL, to SLU for law school. And so I was raising a kid on my own, put myself through school. I was working more shit jobs while I was doing that. And, but there wasn't a whole lot of time for stand up because I was raising a kid and going through school. And so I got married at one point, and actually today would have been my anniversary.
Yeah.
But we never celebrated an anniversary together because we were together for 7 years, but only married and together before we separated for 6 months. So by the time our anniversary rolled around, we'd already called it quits. And after that, first I played roller derby after I got divorced, started boozing again, and I started playing roller derby, and then I broke my ankle, and then I stopped drinking again, and I was like, well, I need another fucked up hobby. So I started doing stand up again. And that was about almost 3 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. That was a lot there.
That is a lot. That's the 3-minute synopsis of 40 years.
I just thinking that my mom, she
I don't know, I guess, I forget how old I don't know, we were pretty young, but she was raising babies, working full-time at McDonnell Douglas at the time before they went to Boeing and laid off everybody and everything else. And she was at McDonnell Douglas then, and she was putting herself through school.
That's awesome.
At Lindenwood, and I was just like, you know, I just think about like, at the time, as a kid, I had no idea, you know, it's like, but then now as like an adult, I realized like what she was, you know, with the pressure and stuff she probably was feeling and putting herself through and trying to do all of this. And you know, it's like, it's a lot to handle for anybody, but, you know, like, especially trying to do it as a single mother and stuff. And there, like I said, like as you raising babies and stuff but yeah, it's quite the task to put yourself through school. And
thank you.
Yeah.
And your mom sounds like a really incredible woman.
Yeah, she was a badass for sure. I don't know. I miss her a lot. We had a ton of fun together after she ended up retiring and stuff. And that's when we, you know, really got to start hanging out a lot more and going to concerts and do all kinds of fun stuff. So, but yeah, I just like, I don't know, as you were telling that story, that's kind of where I kind of started thinking about my own mother and stuff, going through all that. So, yeah, I don't know. I tried doing the school. School was never my thing.
I wish that I had not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I am so loaded down in debt, student loan debt. I was the first person in my family, my immediate family, to go to college. I have pretty far removed aunts and cousins who did and stuff, but I didn't know much about it. But like in the 80s, 90s, whatever, early aughts, like that was what was pushed. You know, you get a degree and that will get you on the right path. And, you know, like, I had low wage jobs when Abby was little, and I just like, I wanted to provide well for her, and I wanted to do something that I felt good about. And I wanted to help people, especially after my experience with going to rehab and stuff. Like, I was really focused on doing something that would help. So I went to social work school, and then I was like, well, I think I could do more with a law degree. Turns out probably not. I did work for a nonprofit in East St. Louis doing housing law, and that was really rewarding, but it was also really heavy work and low wage work. And so if you are a legal aid poverty lawyer, you're probably going to be as poor as your clients. And that's what happened for me. After I got divorced, I amassed a lot of debt, and I was like, well, I've got to find something else, but I still have to find something where I can get my loans forgiven, you know, after 10 years. And so I work for the state of Illinois now, and it's a fine job. It's benefits are good, hours are good. It's just, it doesn't feel like my calling,
right.
You know? Like working at the nonprofit felt like a home to me. What I do now, representing a big non-entity, does not feel like a home, but it's a great job. And I do, you know, I can help people kind of, and I can kind of, like I'm doing fine financially. That's great now. The excellent thing about it is that it gives me the time and resources to pursue other passions and hobbies. And I think most of us have this idea about finding something that we love to do. Like we're going to find a day job or a gig that we love to do. And I think that's kind of a myth.
Right.
And if you can find something that you're reasonably happy in, that will let you live like a full, happy life. And if you decide, you know, if like me, you decide you want to do stand-up, or, you know, if you want to climb a mountain, or if you want to spend your evenings painting, or, you know, if your job allows you to do that, then you're doing really well.
Sure. Yeah. I say it a lot. Like, and I kind of, there's a lot of similarities there in our stories where I work for a school district as my day job, but I worked into 6:30. It's a pretty sweet shift for me because I'm off early enough to make it to the shows I want to go see or do the podcast or whatever it is. And if I stay out all night, I still can sleep in and not have to be at work until super early, or I don't have to be at work super early. So it's really ideal for me, and I'm able to juggle both sides of my life pretty well with, I have my stability, my income, and then I have my creativity in the evenings and get to do all the fun stuff I want to do. And I agree. I think as long as I have bigger goals and that I want and thought of things I want. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life, but it's nice that I'm able to fully support both sides of my life. So there's a lot to that also. It's like, I think if I were to have some more successful job and stuff, I probably wouldn't be able to do half the fun and stuff I want to do. So it's got pros and cons to both of them. So
I have never wanted to be a person who worked at a law firm or worked 60 hours a week. That was not my goal. And like the idea of doing that seems emotionally bankrupting to me. It seems like that would be soulless. And so I'm very lucky that I found something that is not poverty wages, and it's also the kind of hours that, like you, that allows me to have a full happy life.
Yeah.
And I can generally, I can do something physically healthy for me after I get off work, and then go, if I have a show or go to an open mic, I have enough of my day that's still open that I can do that.
Yeah. You mentioned an injury led you into getting back into comedy and stuff, and but what was that moment that was it just that like you're physically unable to do the other, so that, or did you have like that moment where you're like, I think I have something to say, now again, or?
Well, I played roller derby after I got divorced for about 7 months, and it was really exhilarating, and it was really fun and very physical, but it was kind of all-consuming. It's a little culty.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you do 3 practices a week generally, plus you hang out with your team. And there's like a huge drinking culture as part of it. I felt, and a lot of people, I think, get drawn to roller derby. There's a lot of pageantry to it. A lot of it's physical and it's kind of a fringe sport. And so I think a lot of people get drawn to it when they're going through things, kind of like stand up. And I'm always going through something. So, but it was really good for where I was at. I made like a community of lady friends, like when I was divorcing, and it felt a little edgy and it was exciting. And then I broke my ankle and I had to have surgery. Like I have a plate and 2 screws in my ankle right now. And and it was in my non-dominant leg. It was in my left leg. And so I imagined if I went back and then I did it again, like how dumb would I feel if I went back and I broke the foot that I drive with and then I didn't work for a month and a half. And I didn't break it. Like I say I broke it while I was playing roller derby, but I was at an open skate. And I was just kind of like coasting along and pop. And I have a Franken ankle now. You can see the scars on there.
Yeah.
You can see the screws poking out. And so I don't think that I really, like, after that, I quit drinking again, and that kind of became my focus for a year. For a year, I worked on just not boozing and, like, finding that kind of, like, healthy spot, that sweet spot in my life. And I started hiking again, doing outdoorsy stuff. And I think at that time, I was working part-time at a winery on the weekend, so that didn't lend itself. I was still, like, I was working at the nonprofit still, and I was trying to, like, pull myself out of divorce debts. But after, like, when I got to the point where I didn't need to do all that, I was like, well, I am a creative person, you know, like you were talking about, you know, like you need something that feeds your brain and your soul. And I had done stand-up before, and this time I started doing the thing where I, like, before I do stand up like once a year or whatever. I go to an open mic, and then I'd be like, I hate this. I'm not getting what I deserve. And so, like, I'm not getting the attention and the laughs I deserve. And this time I did it in a, like, the way that people who are devoted to it do it. Or people, you know, who are, like, working on honing it as a, like, a skill or a craft, you know. And I started doing, at one point I was doing, like, mics every night, and that was, like, right before the pandemic. And I'm not saying that's healthy either. Like, that is not. I didn't realize how exhausted I was when the pandemic started, because I was out. I'd go to 2 or 3 mics a night, or, you know, as many as I could in St. Louis. I think there were some nights when I did 3, 2, or I'd do a show and then I'd go to a late mic, and I was sleeping, you know, maybe 5 hours a night. And so I don't want to do that again, but it is something that I love. And it was always something that I loved. Like, I have pictures from when I was in kindergarten, and they said, hey, draw what you want to be when you grow up. And I drew myself with a microphone doing stand-up, you know, because at that time, like, VH1 had stand-up, and I was always really, really into SNL. Mm-hmm. And when I was probably, I mean, that was like when Chris Farley was on there, when I was 9, 10, 11 years old. And stand-up was always something that I really, really loved. And my mom would let me watch just about anything. I remember watching George Carlin specials on HBO.
Yeah.
She'd let me stay up and, you know, watch SNL with her, or whatever was on. And so, yeah, when I jumped back in, I was hooked and really in.
I've always been a super fan of comedy, especially stand-up. I watched, like, especially in the early days of Comedy Central, watched, like, all the Comedy Central presents, all the, you know, Carlin and all, like, I was just a fan and a student of it, and I watched all these greats, and I mean, there was a summer I watched Tommy Boy, like, when 97, or whatever it was. I watched Tommy Boy probably 100 times that summer. It was on HBO, and I don't know. I was always kind of like, I think there was a bunch of us, but I'm kind of just mimicked Farley for the longest time. I was just like, you know, the chubby, goofy, funny kid in school, and I don't know. But I never, nothing about any, like, I always felt like maybe there was something there, but, like, I never felt like I should had that something draw me to pursue this. Like, maybe I should do stand up or do, and I've for the longest time I would go to the Funny Bone. I was working nights at the time, and then so Sundays they had those, like, Kilo Diabetes Foundation passes or whatever for $1. I'd support, and then I'd go watch the Sunday headliner show for $1, and I'd sit there and I became buddies with, like, everybody, all the locals working, and all the national touring guys and stuff. And then, like, but every time I'm sitting back there, everybody's always like, do you want to do comedy? Because I'm, like, hanging out so much, and that's kind of the thing. Like, they always say if you're hanging out, you probably want to do that. And I'm like, nah, I'm just a fan. I enjoy the art form for sure, you know. And I'm like, but there was some time I just haven't figured out the time in my schedule to allow me to do it. But I've often crossed my mind about maybe hitting up the improv shop or do something like that, just to just kind of build that muscle up a little better to even for this show and everything else to be able to. So I don't know. I just think it'd be kind of fun to kind of add another tool to the belt kind of thing. But I don't know. We have a lot of opportunities for comedy in St. Louis for sure.
True.
Whether it's performing or even just writing, there's a lot of great sketch things going on and different stuff. So I feel like I could contribute in a sense, like to something, be a part of something. But I don't know that I never really felt like there's something drawing me that I need to get out and do stand up or anything though, or perform.
Yeah, I've kind of found that the shows that I like, at least in the last couple months, that I've liked doing the most are the weird shows, like the kind of like, and maybe there are a lot of comedy adjacent shows that aren't stand-up shows, like, Sorry, Please Continue, the storytelling show. I've not done that one, but like maybe that would be something you were interested in, a storytelling, because you are extra. It seems like you're an extrovert and you're a good storyteller. So, and if you don't want to do stand up, there are 3 stand up comedians who are like chiming in.
Right.
But like I really like doing stand up now that I've done it a couple times, and I think I did this when I was younger, but like stand up as a character, that's really fun for me. And so I am thinking about ways that I can, like there are some people in St. Louis who do those shows at the Heavy Anchor, like Christian Lawrence. I've done his shows. He does History Schmystery and Boop Gun, and those were super duper fun. So fun.
Big fan of Christian.
I just wish there were so many more of those because they're so fun to do. So I've thought about like doing that. And I don't know. Yeah.
There's that's what I do love about this kind of this, DIY kind of approach to a lot of comedy. A lot of people, just want more opportunities and want different opportunities and things. Maybe there's something they see missing in the scene, and they try to. A lot of people to start their own shows or do something to, find something unique. And I always kind of thought it'd be fun to kind of bring something, try to adapt it here in St. Louis a little bit. But I love. And they made a Comedy Central show of it too. But Josh Adam Myers was doing that goddamn comedy jam, and where it was like a live band, and then like a comedian will do a set and then sing a song with the band and stuff. And I always kind of thought that would be fun because those are 2 of my favorite things: comedy music. If I could some sort of
that's a really good idea.
Blend them and make something like that happen. But I always thought it's kind of like live band karaoke kind of thing to it. And then so I don't know. I think there's been elements of similar things out there, but like, I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of fun for me, especially as a fan of both forms for sure. So trying to find that good way to marry the two.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
There was a lip syncing show on for a while. I don't know if it's on anymore. And I think like that could be a fun way to do like a fun medium for performance.
Right.
Like there are a lot of fun, weird things that you could bring to a show. And I've been thinking about doing like, on the Illinois side, there's this great theater, the Lincoln Theater. You've probably, sometimes there are concerts there. And I thought I would like to start like a 30s style burlesque vaudeville show, not a burlesque show, but maybe some burlesque, but like a vaudeville style show with music, but kind of more ragtimey or whatever, kind of period a little bit. And I thought that would be really fun. And I'd like to do like a talent show of sorts for adults, but at like a comedy show as a talent show, kind of a hybrid. And I think that's something that I'm looking into. I like, like we were talking about, like, I don't feel like, and maybe it is, maybe everything is wide open and fine, but I still I don't know if it's insecurity or whatever, but I don't feel like my feet are firmly post-pandemic planted yet.
Right.
So I was running a monthly show in Illinois, but I haven't, started that back up yet. And I have ideas for other creative, fun things to do. I don't have the confidence yet. And I'm hoping to get there, but just not quite.
Right. I do some things. But I was the same thing. I'm doing this big benefit for my mom that I started as a benefit for her. This year is trying to help others in need. So in her memory, we're doing it. And
is that Deb stock?
Yeah, Deb stock. Yeah. And I went back and forth, like, do I do this? Do I not? Like, is this? Mm-hmm. I was just afraid to fail, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Like, that's with everything. But like, I was afraid to put myself out there and then it kind of just be a dud because people are afraid to come out still, mm-hmm. or, to that level. Like, it's a large venue, mm-hmm. and I hope that there's a nice large crowd to come out there with us. But, this is kind of the thing. It's like, it's just a gamble, roll the
mm-hmm.
dice, you hope to put all the work into it and people show up and respond to it. And,
sure.
But yeah, it's just like, again, this all sits right back in your mind. You're like, is this right? Is today, is this a good time to do it now or yet? And it's like, so it's kind of a bummer. I mean, but it's like, I would have felt that way whether pandemic or not. Like, mm-hmm. I would have still had the same doubt mm-hmm. and same, thoughts and stuff. It's just like, it's St. Louis. There's 50, 100 things that going on every night. It's like, it's just like, you never know. You pick a date on the calendar and hope to make the best of it and stuff.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, I'm always, when I'm on a show, and there are, 7 other great comedy shows, and they're all great. And so, whether they be at a bar or a brewery or at, the comedy clubs, there are so many great options. And I'm always a little surprised by what does real well and what doesn't do as well.
Yeah.
I've been on shows with fantastic lineups that had 5 people in the audience. It is a gamble. It is hit or miss.
I mean, I worked Broadway Oyster Bar for about 5 years, and I get it every now and then. Some great band be up on stage, and they're set break come around. They're like, "Where's everybody at?" And I'm like, "No idea, man." Like, it's like, and it doesn't matter the talent. It's just like a matter of sometimes that some things click for the night for whatever reason, and some don't. And it's like, I don't know. It's just there's no rhyme or reason to any of it. Like, if people did what they were supposed to do, but it's just some reason that show didn't work that night, and then the next time they come back, it packed out and whatever. I don't know. It's weird business. This whole,
it really is. You can't. I don't know. I guess you can try just banking on human psychology, but it's tough.
Yeah. Well, you do have a couple of great opportunities coming up to come see Cori live, and you will be at the Crack Fox on Friday the 15th this weekend with Chris Sear, right? And
it's the Chris Sear's Impolite Comedy.
Yeah.
We've got Casey Paulson. Absolutely hilarious, always so funny. JC Sibala, again, another favorite. And then from transplanted from New York to Oklahoma City is Neil Rubenstein. And he's been, I think, through St. Louis in the last year a couple times. And he is just wonderful, very, very funny. Really, really smart, funny, dark humor. And I can't say enough about him. Great.
Very cool. Yeah, that would be fun. I know Chris and JC are friends of the show and 2 of my favorites in town for sure. So
they're both very, very funny.
Yeah, that sounds like a great night for sure. And again, that's at the Crack Fox. And then on Saturday, the 16th, we mentioned Chris Farley, but you'll be performing and sharing the stage with his brother Kevin Farley at was it Taytro's?
Taytro's
Yeah,
in
Taytro's.
Festus, Missouri, with Gary Reinhardt and Vince Upper. They are they're wonderful too. I'm going to say that about, like everyone on the show, but they're funny guys. And it's an opportunity. Kevin Farley, I saw him when he was in Second City when I went to theater camp when I was in high school, and he was in Second City then. And I met, I'm sure, that was 20 whatever years ago. So, but I'm very excited to see him perform again.
Yeah. And I have not been, but I hear very good things about the food and everything down there too.
Yeah,
so.
Cajun food.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah. So come hungry and enjoy the show. And then you said you'll be at November 3rd. You'll be at the Heavy Anchor. Mm-hmm. And what was the name of that one?
That is the MILFs, DILFs, and GILFs show put on by Off the Record Comedy. I will be doing that with, again, JC Sibala. Who are the other DILFs? JC Sibala, Max Pryce, another MILF, Meredith Hopping, and GILF, Rafe Fiennes. Rafe Williams. Rafe Fiennes is GILFy too.
Yeah.
Our local GILF. Rafe.
Yeah. But that's a great lineup for sure.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Super good local show.
Now, with is there a theme to that? Like, obviously, with that title, are you encouraged to do more of your stories about your children, or what?
I think that we will.
Yeah.
I think it's inevitable. I don't do. My daughter is, since she's a grown up now. While a lot of my stuff is, it's the person that I am. I was a single mom for her life, and she still lives with me, and so I'm still a mom to her. And so it is just part of who I am. But it's a very small part of my stand-up stories about my kid.
Sure.
But on a show like that, of course, you tell those stories, I think. It's a fundraiser for Stray Rescue. So it's a great show for a good cause, and I'm sure you'll get to hear us bitch about our kids.
Yeah.
Or grandkids or whoever.
Yeah. No, Rafe's whole, he's got a lot of material about being grandpa, and it was that whole record that he put out is hysterical. So check it out. But yeah, that's gonna be a good night, and like I said, for a good cause. That sounds cool. So I want to mark that on the calendar and come out and participate with you. Have a good time. Help some puppies. I've been wanting to do more of that, as I don't know. I just have fun with these more benefit shows.
I've been thinking about that too. If I start running shows again, there's always going to be some kind of benefit component to it.
And it's not. Everybody's got a huge heart around it. Everybody there's so many people that want to help out and be a part of something like that. So it feels good to ask your friends to, have so many of them respond and say, yeah, well, I'm happy to support and not looking to get, paid or whatever, because it's all going to the cause. And so I don't know. It's been, I feel bad sometimes because I have so many friends that do perform for free and things, but it felt good to have, offer them this, and they say, yeah, absolutely, we're in. And so it's been pretty cool to have those people have your back like that.
Yeah.
So
I like being able, I am community minded. That's my professional background, or what I wanted to do the most. And so I've always, if there is an opportunity to lend my time, or, if I can help out, that's important to me. And so I would personally really like to do more of those kinds of shows.
Yeah.
Like what you're
Yeah,
what you're saying.
for sure. Yeah, I hope to do more of it and continue it in the future. Just see what happens. But yeah, Dubstock is definitely one I want to like make an annual event and stuff. But
Yeah.
in the past, I did a Toys for Tots show for the holidays, and that was real successful and a lot of fun. And I don't know, it was that one like was. My friend Lexi helped me put that together, and it was kind of her. It was a bucket list thing for her, and I was like, I don't know. She posted it on Facebook, like her whole list of things she wanted to do, and I was like, I hope you check that one off if you want, and like let's do it. So it was pretty neat. I had a lot of people donate gifts at the door and stuff, but also a lot of people just gave us money. So it was quite the experience going to Walmart and like filling up 6 shopping carts full of toys and all this stuff, like getting to kind of go on this shopping spree, kind of living a childhood dream kind of thing, like, and helping pass that on to some other kids in need and stuff. So that was, that felt really good. Like it was a cool day for sure. And then getting to, I wasn't there to see their faces when, obviously when they got the gift or anything, but like just that part, just knowing that, making a difference in some kids' day, like that felt really good. So
Yeah.
So hopefully we do some more cool things like that in the future. So you mentioned traveling a little bit. You're climbing mountains and stuff, and I don't know. I follow along with you, like I said, on Facebook and Instagram. So I see a lot of your pictures, and I'm like, you've been getting to do a lot of really cool things. Like over the couple of years I've known you now. Like,
thank you.
So is that just is that something you just love traveling and getting to see?
I absolutely love to travel. Yeah. I think that traveling and experiencing life in different places is the best way to humble us and also open us to other people's experiences.
Right.
I think Mark Twain said that like travel is the way that you eradicate prejudices by experiencing new things, and that's not a verbatim quote, but I probably haven't traveled as extensively as I want to, but this year I went to Mexico for a week, and I got to go to Colorado, and I climbed my first 14er, which is I was actually supposed to climb Summit 2 14ers, which is a mountain over 14,000 feet. I was able to summit 1, but then the wildfire smoke moved in when I was on, like, the day that I was climbing the second one. It was so hazy that by the time I was probably a quarter mile from summit, maybe less, I could not breathe anymore. I don't have asthma, but I was having asthma attacks on the mountain, and it was kind of inducing panic for me.
Yeah.
And so I had to hightail it down. Another thing that they don't tell you is that there's absolutely nowhere to piss on a mountain. Like, that's the thing that you don't think about. Like, the summit of a mountain is totally bare. There's nowhere to hide. You either drop your pants and you piss in front of whatever, the other 50 people who are, climbing up this mountain, or you just like pee yourself as you're walking. And like, I couldn't handle it anymore. That was too much. Like, not breathing and pissing myself. Get out of here. Too much.
I just was thinking about the pamphlet, reading that, like, oh, nowhere to piss. Okay.
I said this to someone else. I was like, there's no fucking way. You cannot find a place to pee. And he was like, well, that's why they make those underwear that absorb pee. And I was like, they make those? I could have gotten those. I had no idea. That would have been so good to know.
I think it's a little different experience, but for what triggered memory, I listen to a lot of Howard Stern show, and there's this crazy guy, Richard Christie, on the show, and he likes going to concerts, these big festivals, like big metal festivals, and he also likes drinking a ton of beer. So he would wear adult diapers to these events just so he didn't have to like lose his spot at the festival. He would just
Smart.
sit there and drink beer and pee his pants. And I was like, that's dedication. That's
Yeah, I admire that. I think that, like, okay, so the thing about being on a mountain is it gets really cold, and like, I think that like that much extra weight, like a Donald Duck ass as you are climbing the mountain I think there would be chafing, maybe a little freezing. I don't know that a diaper is the way to go, but there has apparently there's a solution, and I just didn't know about it. So if I ever try that again, and I'm not sure I will because I've already done it once, but if I ever try it again, I'm gonna get some piss in your pants.
Yeah. I was watching Big Brother. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but me and Stacy got me into it, and it's a mess, but it's entertaining. But it's but there was a room called the Have-Not, and it's like all like their punishment room is like they're uncomfortable beds, and then you have to eat this slop food or whatever. It's like all this stuff like that. So, but there was this guy was in this punishment, and he wasn't able to leave the room even to go to like the bathroom. So they had like this little tent that and like a 5-gallon bucket that he had to use but at least that's the way they made it perceive on TV. I don't know if that was really the case, but I was just like thinking about like maybe that's the way you just have like bring your little tent with you. And,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Like a sheet that you could just wrap around you and then drop trout, I guess.
Yeah. I'm just spitballing ideas.
I think this is all great.
Right.
I'm gonna once I listen to the podcast, I'm gonna be writing all of these ideas down.
Yeah.
Maybe not the diaper. I am gonna wait. I think I've got a good 15 years before I'm actually in diapers. So that may not be the one, but the sheet is sounding pretty good.
There you go.
Tent sheet.
Yeah. So climbing mountains and what else is on that you still want to do? Is there some like do you do any of the skydiving or do any of that kind of crazy adventure stuff or?
Yeah. Well, I've never skydived, and there was a time when I wanted to. I don't know that I want to anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can justify jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
Right.
I irrationally worry about my broken, like, oh yeah, climb and hike for 10 miles and my ankle's fine. But I irrationally worry about like landing badly skydiving and then just like seeing the metal rods poking out of my legs. And I don't know why. Like, I think it would probably be safer and easier than, hiking for, 12 hours at a time. Have you ever skydove? Skydoved? I don't know how you say it.
No, I've never done any of that. I actually just flew in commercially for the first time like a couple weeks ago.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. So.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, it was a little weird. Like the landing was like kind of. I don't know. It was like it just felt like we came in pretty hot. Like it was like and they were putting on the brakes and we're all like just like it was very intense landing. For like it wasn't. I just felt like maybe it would have been a little smoother. Like I don't know. Yeah. The takeoff was fine. Like but the landing was really like a little sketchy. But we did it and nothing happened and it was a good experience. But
cool.
Yeah, it was strange.
No turbulence?
No, not really. No, it was from Jacksonville to St. Louis, so it wasn't like a real long flight anyway. And weather was clear all day, so. Nice. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of. I'd flown. Dad's friend had a pilot's license and took us in like an 8-person plane.
That's the kind you jump out of.
Yeah, so like, and that was probably scarier than flying commercially, but so finally. Did that now, 36 years old. So, but I don't know. I don't think don't think that's anything I need to do. I don't think there's nothing been drawing me to say, hey, I needed to go jump out of a plane. So
I think that, I don't know that will ever be something that I will do either. Maybe I would do the test it like in a room, the big fan where you skydive and see how that goes for me. I that's not the same at all, I don't think.
Right.
But maybe that would be like training wheels for that. I think I'd like to, like, if there is anything that a bucket list scary thing to do, I think would be, I've never scuba dived, I've never done that. I've snorkeled a lot, but I think the ocean is fascinating and frightening. It's so deep and it's so scary down there. What's down there? I don't know.
Yeah. We did. My dad had a scuba diving tank and everything. We a lot of times we would some of the local lakes and the
cool
Ozarks and stuff. But we did go to Key West, Florida,
nice,
and got to dive in the ocean and yeah, it was definitely.
What's the coolest thing you've seen?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of, like, we didn't go real far down or and too much, like, cause I think he did more on his own, but I was pretty young at the time and just kind of like, I don't know, I was on a second respirator off it, so I didn't actually have my own thing, and he kind of just held on to me, and we like, but I mean, the coral, all the different crazy colors and stuff, and like, but there was like a 5-foot nurse shark like came by our boat. And
that's
stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, just kind of, it's like I was saying, this could be pretty scary if you get down too far and get this some weird things, but it was just it's pretty wild to sit there even on the top and like look down and see the floor pretty much like it's so I don't know, it'd be fun though to get more tropical and get into scuba diving some other places and stuff and see just again all the beautiful fish and wildlife out there, and so I'd like to do some more of that too.
It's really interesting to me. I snorkeled over the Mesoamerican Reef, which is the second largest reef system on the planet, and that was in Belize. And I saw so many incredibly exotic, interesting colored fish, and I saw huge sea turtles. And when I was in Mexico earlier this year, I got to go snorkeling again. And where I went, they had an underwater museum with like submerged statues that they're turning into a reef system. Saw all kinds of turtles, and that was super cool. And yeah, it's just so liberating and free. And it does kind of feel like flying when you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to do. There's a lot of that. I mean, even mountain climbing, like you were talking about earlier. Like, there's so many things I'd like to still have to do on my list. So, hopefully, I can get on there and see a little bit more of the world. Sometime. Well, I got a couple questions I've been asking, and
bring it.
Thought I'd get your take on some of these.
Okay.
All right. What about? All right, the day comes along, we have a Cori action figure. What would be 3 accessories to go with your action figure?
I think it would be like a real basic bitch action figure. I don't think of myself as a basic bitch, but like I have some creature comforts that I need. Like I drink a shit ton of plain coffee. I drink at least 2 pots of plain coffee every day and get all amped up. I've got a crusty little white dog, like a lot of middle-aged ladies. Izzy is so old and so crusty, and she's a foot tall and she has chronic bronchitis. She's allergic to grass and she sputters and wheezes now. So that's pretty on point for the basic bitch Cori doll. And then a third thing, What is something that I absolutely could not live without? Geez. I paint a lot, and I like to do, like last year I was taking thrift store paintings, and I did this as a fundraiser. I was taking thrift store paintings, and I was painting like monsters and stuff into them.
All right.
And so I think my third thing would be a set of paints and maybe like a canvas with like a squid monster on it or something. I think those are things that kind of summarize me.
That sounds fun. Yeah. What? All right. We mentioned SNL. I don't ask this one a lot, but it's one I think about sometimes. I think actually David Spade proposed the idea on Stern's show one day, and it sounded interesting to me. But if you had your all-time SNL cast, like if you could pick some of your people that you would put throughout the years, and who would be your weekend update host? And then
so like I really liked Jan Hooks on when I was a little girl. She was my favorite lady castmate. I like my mom let me watch all of the original cast. I watched all of those, like the old 70s SNLs, and I think almost everyone in the original cast was absolutely perfect. I think so. Maybe if I could take like the first cast and then add Jan Hooks to it. But of course, Norm Macdonald for Dennis Miller was really good, but he's turned into such a fucko. That like Norm Macdonald was always just really funny and really solid.
Yeah.
But man, I love Bill Hader. It's just so hard. That's such a hard question.
Sure.
Bill Hader is incredible. Leslie Jones is amazing. Like there's this euphoric recall for a Saturday Night Live that existed, 30 years ago, but there were always hit and miss sketches. And like there have been people in the last 10 years who are just excellent on it. So funny.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously it's, very kind of, everybody has their class kind of thing that they grew up with. And then they like the next class comes along and they're like, oh, they suck. It's just like, it's whatever. But it's like, I've always stick with the show. There's always something I enjoy.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe not everyone's my favorite skit or anything but like those cast members finally find a groove and they become you start to really appreciate their skills and stuff, that they're all, equally as great. It's just such a people that's just, I don't know, everybody wants to hate when it's something different, something that is not what it was or not what it, so I don't know, but I agree. Norm Macdonald probably be my weekend update host. He's one of the best, and it's such a bummer that we lost him this year, and like in such a way too, like the fact that he never really told anybody he was sick or anything, and so I don't know. It was super sad that he passed, and because he was always been one of my favorites. In the way his mind works and stuff, he pretty silly. So
really funny, really smart.
Yeah, but and I also like I don't know. I was talking to a friend about it, about I feel like as much as he probably wouldn't want the credit anyway or anything, but like I feel like if it weren't for guys like Norm doing what he did, then comedy wouldn't exist the way it does today. I don't think. I mean, I feel like he pushed the boundaries for a lot of things, like at a time, like especially even on Weekend Update there on SNL, like telling OJ jokes and stuff, and like the way he did it, and they, according to the story, they told him to stop, and he didn't, and then so he ended up getting fired. But like they, so stuff like that, like you know, just having the balls to like go against everything. Like, you know, you told me to not do it. I'm just going to do it even more. And like, and I think there was he was on one of those roast. I think it was the Bob Saget roast. Mm-hmm. And they were like telling him like, you know, really give it to him. And then like, he did like the opposite, like did these like really lame generic joke, you know, kind of thing. And like super dad joke kind of stuff. And like, he just did it just to, you know, just to piss him off, go against everything that they wanted him to do. So, and I don't know. So I appreciate that about him, that he wasn't afraid to go against the grain, you know?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, one of the Dirty Work is like
that was a great movie. It's underappreciated.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of my absolute favorite kind of cult classics now. Like, you know, it's one of those that was kind of a dud in the box office, but it's so funny. All right. Let's see. What's a movie or TV show you wish you were in? Is there any?
The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah.
That would be.
I hear. Yeah, I definitely know like the name, and I've seen some trailers. I never had HBO at the time, so I never got to watch it. So this one
so funny.
Yeah, it's one I missed. So I need to go through and catch up on that.
And it's like a great character study.
Right.
You know, just funny, ridiculous characters. And I love anything that Danny McBride is in.
Yeah.
He's always so good. Like This Is the End is I watch it like once a month. Love it.
Yeah.
That and Pineapple Express. Those are my two go-to movies that I watch constantly all the time.
Yeah.
And The Righteous Gemstones is just like almost every character on it is so over the top. Like it would just be ridiculously fun to be in. And and there's like I would love to be on a sketch show too. That would be really, really fun to do. Mm-hmm. But The Righteous, like for a scripted show, Righteous Gemstones is just it's chef's kiss perfect. So great.
You know, we're talking about a lot of various forms of comedy and stuff. Is do you aspire to do some of those other things? Do some writing and do some sketch and is that do you want to encompass all of it and stuff?
Yeah, I wrote a lot of, like, I've always loved to write. I wrote short stories. That was one of the things that I've done for the last 10 years since law school. That was one of my creative outlets. So I really love to write, but I have found that, or I have to credit Christian Lawrence doing his mystery show for, like, I had never had so much fun doing stand-up. Like, I love doing stand-up. I like it. But doing that show, like, as an over-the-top character doing stand-up it kind of opened my eyes to, it made me feel like there's another way that I can write and do things and grow. And I want to, that was only, I guess that was like 2 months ago. And so it's made me think about how I'm going to redo my material or how I'm going to approach doing stand-up now. Because, like, I'm not sure if we were taping yet, but I've kind of taken a little bit of time off to, I haven't been hustling as hard as I did, kind of thinking about, I've got a birthday coming up, kind of thinking about my health. But I've also been thinking about, like, how can I met up with Chris Sear today and talked about this because I've been feeling a little bit of burnout on just straight stand-up. So how can I make it, like, super fun to do? And I think that I feel like I am an absurdist at my heart, and I'm doing jokey joke stand-up, and I don't know if that's who my soul or who my personality is,
right.
Like, you know, like doing like a straight stand-up set. And so I've been thinking about, like, how can I make it fun and do something that would be fun for an audience to watch. And man, when I figure it out, it's going to be great. I haven't figured it out yet,
Right.
but like the History Mystery show was eye-opening for me, and I want to figure out a way to bring that more into my whatever 20-minute set that I do usually on a show.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun. I mean, like, it's just, that's the thing. There are no rules. There's possibilities are endless. You know, just like,
That's so true. And like I feel like stand-ups kind of like box themselves into, well, what's going to get me booked at the next club, or what's going to get me, and maybe, I don't know, I guess it depends on what you see as your goal. And like, I don't have any goals. I just want to like fuck shit up and be happy, I guess. Like, I don't really, you know, like I want to do stand up in a way that like is good for me and good for an audience.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's, I feel like that stuff is, transparent. That comes through. I've been to a lot of shows, and some people are better at faking it, but like, if you're not as into it, like we're, as an audience, we're not going to be into it. Like, so there's been shows where I've been to, like, where it's just kind of been uncomfortable. Like, yeah, they still say some funny jokes and things, but it just feels like it's very rehearsed, or it feels forced or something, and it's like they're kind of tired of what they're talking about and stuff and that kind of thing. So where it's like, it doesn't come off as organic, as like, oh, I just came up with this kind of idea. I get that, I understand that this is material they've been preparing for a long time, but it's the way you present it, where it's like, you still have to come up, it has to feel like this is the first time you've ever heard this thing. So
yeah, it's hard to breathe. Like, after you've done a joke, whatever, 15, 20, 25 times, it's hard to breathe new life into it, and for it to not become rote or pat. And I have some jokes that I love that I still have that I've done for several years. There are people who have done the same set for 20 years, and that's crazy. Yeah. Like doing the same jokes for just forever is woof. That doesn't seem fun. Like, I get sick of my own jokes after like 2 months.
Yeah.
It takes about 2 months. I'm like, I'm so sick of this, and it's not fun to do anymore.
But then every now and then you'll find another tag to it, or another, something where every now and then whatever it spins into another bit or something else. Like, I mean, that's kind of the thing too. Like, it's sometimes it always depends, but I feel like jokes are never really done. Like, people continue to find other ways to add to it.
Yeah, things can always be funnier. Right. They can always be better. They can be worse too. I think. Yeah. They can be.
Well, again, you can find Cori coming to a town near you. Hopefully, we'll got some great shows this weekend. Then you are over in. You're even over in Indiana, right?
Indiana on the 23rd. Yeah.
So you do a little bit of traveling and
try and get out.
See some different spots around the Midwest here and stuff. So, hopefully we'll get you back into your hosting again. Putting together some more shows of your own and things. Find whatever you find at wherever it is. I know like. You used to do a showcase and an open mic and stuff. Yep. So
in Illinois on the L side, yes. I'm probably going to bring something like that back, and probably sooner rather than later.
Yes. Well, I think that'd be cool to again just to help others and plenty a little more stage time for yourself and along the way. So. But this has been really great, Cori. I'm really glad we
so fun, Shane.
got to hang out tonight, and hopefully we can link up again sometime soon. And I really appreciate you coming out tonight and
thank you for having me,
hanging out with me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast. Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Well, yeah, that was it.